Okay, now we're going to take a look at chapter 7 of CBOT, which introduces two different things, variables and the radar instruction. So let's take a look at titanium 6. Titanium 6, if you look at the instructions, hit F1, it says we need to take a chunk of titanium ore, of which we don't know the exact location. So if you look, there are some ores here. We are not sure where exactly to turn and what direction the ore is at. So the radar instruction will help us detect the ore and go to its position. Now, how do we store the information that the radar retrieves? And that is why we need a variable. A variable is essentially a box or some kind of a container that holds information about a certain item. So let's go and see how to write the code. In order to write the code, we need to know certain terms. We need to know what this ore is called, and that is where your help will give you information. So this is a titanium ore with a capital T and capital O. There is no space between the words. Our job is to have this wheeled grabber find the titanium ore, go grab it, come back, find the converter, because we don't know how far away we are from the converter. Find the converter, go to the converter, drop the ore, move back, and wait for it to produce the cell. So let's go ahead and write the code for that. The first thing we need to do is declare a variable. A variable, like I said, is a box to store something. So we can call it whatever we want, but what is it going to store? In this case, it is going to store an object. The titanium ore, the converter, these are all objects. There are different types of variables you can create. You can create a variable to hold numbers. You can create a variable to hold points, which is a point object. So in this case, we're going to hold an object. And so I'm going to call this variable item. Now the item is the name, and you can call it whatever you want. I can call it my item. I don't have to call it item. You can call it your item. So the my item is just a name, and it is going to hold an object. That's what that says. Now I'm going to say my item equals radar of titanium ore. Now be careful how you spell and where you use your caps. If you spell it wrong, then it's going to tell you I don't know what the object is. Now what it's going to do is it's going to get all the information from titanium ore using the radar instruction and put it into my item. So when this statement is done, my item will have a lot of information, as your instructions say. If you go there, you can take a look at it. It says it has information about let's see here. The variable item contains many different kinds of information. It contains the position, the orientation, and there are lots of things. You can get item dot position, so you know where it is. We can find the distance from one object to another. So in this case, all we need to know is the position of the item, so we can actually go to it. So then we're going to say go to item, my item, because that's what I call it, dot position. And then we're going to grab the ore. Now let's do that much. Let's see, compile, make sure there are no errors, and then let's run it, and notice it goes to the nearest ore and it grabs it, and that's all we have done. So let's come back to start. Let's go back and fix a little bit more of our code. So we grabbed it. Now we also need to declare another object. You can call it item 2, or you can call it my item again if you want to. Let's call it item 2. And I'm going to say item 2 equals radar off. Now we need to find the converter. The converter is called just that with a capital C. Then I'm going to say go to item 2 dot position. So now it knows after it's done grabbing, it finds where the item 2 is, and then it's going to go to its position. Then we are going to drop, which is what we want to do, and let's see what that does. So start, and it finds your ore, and then it turns around, it comes back, it drops it on the converter, and ideally we should move back, otherwise the converter is not going to do its work. So I'm going to edit my code and add a line that says move back -3, and then we'll try it one more time. Make it go faster and slow it down when it comes back. Drop it, back up. Now the converter can do its job, and it will make the power cell, and that's all you need to do. So if you go back and take a look at it, let's take a look at your assignment. Says you can do fuel cell 1 or spiders 2. Let's go take a look at power cell 8 and see what that has. Now a couple of more things to find. Notice it's about the same as that. You grab the titanium ore, you come back to the converter. I suspect you have to do one more part to it. There is another object there called the power plant. So once your converter generates your titanium cube, you take it from there and you put it on the power plant. Again, you use the radar instructor. So to make life easy, you can copy that code, which we've already done before. Grab this and put it in here. So it will do that part of it for you. And notice there are some double slash sentences here. Those are comments. So now, and notice also they've used the same item for all the objects, and you can use the same container, because once this is done, there is no need for us to hold that item anymore. So we are overriding that item with the converter. Then I'm going to override, I'm going to copy that code, I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to say I'm looking for power plant now. I believe it is spelled bigger, like that, power plant, and then go to item.position, drop, and move back 3. Now let's go to F1 and see if we did that right. Power plant with a capital P and P, and let's try that code and see what that does. So it gets the ore, drops it. Okay, so now we have a problem. We didn't wait to grab the titanium, so we need to go back and fix our code. Let's go back and take a look. It says you must grab the titanium cube, move and bring it to the power plant, wait 15 seconds, move forward. So that is the part that we missed. So after this we need to wait 15 seconds, move forward 3, grab the titanium ore, and then find the power plant and drop it on that. So let's try it one more time. So there's a wait for 15 seconds. Then it grabs the cube and it finds the power plant and it drops it, and then there's the cell, and that's all you require to do there. Now let's take a look at fuel cell 1. So let's take a look at our instructions. Instead of a titanium ore, this is very simple. All you're doing is finding a platinum ore, and the objects are called, and it produces a fuel cell. Fuel cells are similar to power cell, but they have got a much higher capacity. So all you need to do is use platinum ore instead of titanium ore, and it should work exactly the same way. Let's take a look at this is the fuel cell plant. So now if you need help with any of the categories, just go to categories here and take a look. There is fuel cell plant, and there is the platinum ore. So you're taking the platinum ore to a fuel cell plant. So instead of using titanium ore and converter, you're going to use platinum ore and fuel cell plant. Now let's go back. Let's take a look at spiders and see what we need to do there. Go into spiders, and here your job is to use the radar and find the spider, and then find the direction of the spider, and then turn towards the direction of that spider and then fire. So this should be very interesting. All you need to do is declare. I'm going to just get you started on this one. You need to just get rid of this code here. You declare an item, and then you say item equals radar of spider. I believe that's what it's called, alien spider. Alien spider. Then you have to turn towards, just like it says here, you copy this code that says turn to the direction of the item dot position, and you fire. And it says you should use a repeat, because if you look at it, let's just leave that for right now. If you go down here and look at it, you have about 4 spiders. So if you repeat those lines of code 4 times, you will be able to get all the spiders, and that should do it.